All right, welcome back to the channel. We've got some good news. As it seems, we will be getting the fight we want to see next, which is a rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach. Gervonta Roach confronts Lamont Roach over the fight. Great details involved in that. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. As you know, Gervonta Tank Davis is one of my favorite fighters in boxing. He had a fight that took place this weekend against Lamont Roach, took place in Brooklyn, New York, and it was an exciting fight, an exciting card, and a fight that unfortunately for boxing fans and for both fighters involved ended in a draw. However, a lot of the conversation around the fight afterwards doesn't really reflect, I think, what happened in the fight. But most importantly, though, Gervonta Davis says that he is pushing for a rematch. Will he get the rematch? When will the rematch take place? Before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. If you've been subscribed, thank you for subscribing. It really makes a huge difference to the channel. But let's go through this, man, because I love the fight that took place this Saturday with Gervonta and Lamont Roach. I'm a big fan of Gervonta Davis. I'm a fan of Lamont Roach, an appreciator of Lamont Roach. And for several months, 5 months before this fight took place, I was doing everything I could to tell people that this fight was going to be an exciting fight. It was going to be a competitive fight. And then Lamont Roach was a legitimate, real fighter. Many other people, YouTube channel experts, screamed up and down the block about how Gervonta Davis shouldn't be fighting Lamont Roach, how it's a waste of time, how they would rather have him fight somebody else, or in many cases stated that they didn't want to see Gervonta Davis fight anybody at all if he fought Lamont Roach. Well, thankfully, the fight turned out competitive, and now you have the same people jumping up, down, screaming about robbery, claiming that Gervonta has to rematch him right away. Now, my personal take is I want to see the rematch. So I'm glad that Gervonta Davis went back and forth with Lamont Roach and say less, I'm going to push for the rematch. But he also told Lamont Roach, man, you're just happy that you didn't get knocked out. So, okay, whatever. I heard your pops jumping up and down in the 12th round because you made it to the 12th round. You're happy about that. Whatever. So Gervonta Davis kind of dismisses Lamont Roach, and the whole time took the blame for that draw on himself and said that it was him. And he says, so now he says he's going to push for the rematch. I absolutely hope that rematch happens next. I do want to say something though. Will it happen next? I don't think so. I still don't think so. Because I think that just like Gervonta said before the fight, he had another fight that he was going to announce. Lamont Roach is more than likely going to get bribed out of that fight by Turkey Al-Sheikh or somebody to go get a fight with Lamont Roach. We'll see whether or not Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis actually get that done. But I do want to go through a little history on this because, you know, just like we're hearing all this stuff about nobody's ever taken a knee before and it wasn't considered a knockdown, and this is the worst thing that has ever happened in boxing. We've never seen anything like it before. Man, give me a break. The same way, if somebody doesn't take a rematch right away, it doesn't mean that they're ducking and the rematch is not going to happen. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fought in a fight, ended in a draw. Tyson Fury went and took 2 other fights, skipped out of it, and came back to it later. You have the same thing that happened with Lennox Lewis when Lennox Lewis lost to Oliver McCall. He wound up didn't go right back to it. You also have fights like with Vladimir Klitschko, where Vladimir Klitschko as a champion got knocked out by guys like Layman Brewster. And then what does Vladimir Klitschko do? Vladimir Klitschko doesn't rematch him at all. So I agree 100% that I want to see the rematch. I'm just saying, look, man, we oversimplify the business of boxing a lot of times and set ourselves up with expectations where you know you're going to get let down. Hopefully this will not be the case. Now, one of the good things that took place for the fight that would mean that it most likely will take place was the incredibly large amount of money they made in the fight. They set the second, it was a record-setting fight, or it was as close to a second rating, to a record-setting fight, and it was the second largest gate ever at the Barclays Center, and it doubled Gervonta Davis's previous best. And just so you know, when you're talking about star power, Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach doubled the sales of Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Doubled the sales of it. So we can absolutely positively stop talking about star power and other people's star power other than Gervonta Davis. Now, I do want to make a statement about Lamont Roach, because for Lamont Roach should probably be pushing as hard as he can to get back to that rematch as fast as he can. However, hey, man, it's not going to be all up to him. And if he winds up getting offers to do other things and they try to do kind of funny stuff around Lamont Roach, which I suspect that they will do, I really suspect that they will do, try to bribe him off that particular card. If Lamont Roach, for some reason, steps to the side on that or does not do that for more money elsewhere, it'll be a bad look on Lamont Roach's career. But I do want to say something about Lamont Roach heading into the rematch that I definitely want to see. Lamont Roach is going to have to do more if he wants to beat Gervonta Davis. I rewatched that fight. Lamont Roach didn't do anything for the first 3 rounds. And they both kind of sat there and really didn't do anything for the first 3 rounds. And I think Gervonta Davis won the first 6 rounds, won the majority of the first 6 rounds. Some of those were given to Lamont Roach. Some of those rounds were given to Lamont Roach, even though there was very, very little activity there. That's not enough, in my personal opinion, to secure yourself getting a win over Gervonta Davis. He did enough to get to a draw, and you could even listen to when he said, hey, man, if you start off slow, it'll be a split decision win for me. Lamont Roach even predicted if he started off slow that it would be a split decision win for him, and he thought he got the split decision win, which means what? He was not going in there really, really to fight it and try to take it to the champ and get the champ out of there. What he was trying to do was he was trying to take advantage of people. First of all, he fought a very solid fight, don't get me wrong. He didn't really want a big fight to break out. He fought on the inside well, but if you want to beat somebody like Gervonta, and if you wanted that to be your win, Lamont Roach had to sell out more. He had to go press that dude more to go get the win against that guy, and he didn't do it. Now, remember, as things cool down and people are talking less about the fight and less reaction, we'll see whether or not those guys want to give Lamont Roach another shot at that right away, or whether they want to see Gervonta Davis go fight a couple other people and come back to Lamont Roach. I would say that's highly likely as well. People are going to call it a duck. If you call it a duck, you can call it a duck, but there's plenty of evidence of people not taking rematches right away. Okay. Now I know it's probably not Terrence Crawford's fight that the fault that the rematch with Errol Spence didn't happen right away, but it doesn't happen. Sometimes it just doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen for a lot of reasons. But anyway, I hope it does. I'm glad Gervonta's pushing for it. I'm not going to just say, oh, yeah, it's done. Nah, I'm not going to say that. There's a lot of other people involved in this, and we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.